Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another Teaching Tuesday and part two of our child and youth sexual exploitation series. So today I'll be talking about how technology plays a big part of on child and youth sexual exploitation as well as sexting. Why do children and youth get involved in these exploitations, and as well as the impacts of exploitations and options for leaving and support for the child or youth. So we'll start how technology can be used to sexually exploit children or youth. With the use of cell phones, the internet, any other source of technology, online platforms, as well as gaming platforms, it's easy for offenders to connect with children or youth for the sole purpose of sexually exploiting them. So we now know that the internet is a beautiful, beautiful place to meet new people, but it also has its dark sides. With using an online platform, it's easy for offenders to remain anonymous as well, and while also keeping the identity of the child or youth anonymous. And it's easy for them to create relationships or meet the child and youth for the purpose of exploiting them. But they only not use online platforms, they also use internet pornography sites to post videos and photos. On top of that, they can sometimes use apps. So apps like Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok as well. They use those to sexually exploit children and or youth. We can also talk about a little bit on sexting, just to cover a bit of a base here. But sexting is sending a sexually related text or image from an electronic device. So if you have a nude photo of someone under the age of 18 years old, you can be charged with possession of child pornography or child sexual abuse imagery. That's a new word. Child sexual abuse imagery is also child pornography. If you decide to send or show other people the photo, you can be charged with distribution of it. It also depends on how the investigation goes, how the RCMP handles the case, and the justice system, but there will always be charges when you distribute or even possess child sexual abuse imagery or child pornography. And if you are using that photo to sell, blackmail, or profit off in any way, this is child exploitation. So anyone, if you have a photo of anyone under the age of 18, okay? If you give permission to someone of your own to sell or profit off a nude underage photo of yourself, that is still illegal. So there's no going way around this. It still is child sexual exploitation, and you cannot consent a child sexual exploitation. If you have any other questions or you need to know more information about child sexual abuse imagery or how it plays when it comes to child sexual exploitation, you can go to www.needhelpnow.ca or cybertip.ca to find more information when it comes to child sexual abuse imagery. So the next part, I will be talking about why children and youth get involved. And despite the reasons I'll be listing off why a child or youth may get involved in sexual exploitation, is so important to remember that it's never their fault. It's always the offender's fault. So some of the reasons why would be abuse or neglect at home or in the community, unhealthy homes where addiction, parental conflict, mental health, or domestic violence may occur, school problems, loneliness, their stereotyping, racism, or loss of cultural identity. There's a lack of love and lack of acceptance. There's wanting independence and freedom, low self-esteem or self-worth. There's early sexual experiences, also is sexual abuse, and there's sexual identity crisis, exposure to street life, involvement in criminal activity. There's addiction to drugs, alcohol, and other substances. There's rejection by family or being kicked out. There's consistent pressure or recruitment by a pimp, involvement of one or more family members, and influence of friends and or peers, and the attraction to the perceived glamour of the street lifestyle. And last would be the belief that it is easy money. So those are some of the reasons why the children and youth get involved. There's impacts as well when it comes to sexual exploitation, and that could be mental, physical, or emotional. It would be depression, anxiety, trust issues, There's intimacy problems, substance abuse, estrangement from friends and family, suicide, homelessness, and higher risk of being exploited again. There is lack of education, lack of job skills, STIs, and unwanted pregnancy. Some of these could be short term impact, and others could be a long term one. So we've gone through the technology aspect of it as well as the reasons why youth and children get involved in sexual exploitations. Sexting, we also covered that, the impacts, but now we're going to look into the options for leaving. So if ever someone is in this, if ever a child or youth decides it's their time to leave and they want to stop this, the first thing that they have to do is to tell someone that they trust all this information. And getting support from family or friends or even a counselor can be very beneficial into moving forward. The second step would be getting medical attention as soon as possible. So have the person you trusted with this information go with you. And this is to ensure that your health is good, that there's prevention of STIs as well as pregnancy. Third step is reporting to the RCMP for the safety of everyone and especially for yourself. It's important to have the RCMP involved, and if you're under the age of 18 especially, the exploitation must be reported to the RCMP. Last would be calling your local sexual assault center. So that's us at LSAS, and we provide extra support during this time. And we can be present at the hospital and through the steps of the RCMP when you make a statement as well. Our crisis interventionists also maintain contact afterwards and help survivors deal with the experience that they have gone through. I'd like to add that if you need to know more about child and youth sexual exploitation and want to know more when it comes to education and awareness, please visit cybertip.ca. They have a lot of fantastic resources as well. So that's it for our child and youth exploitation series. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I will see you next time.